Hello again, everybody, and welcome back to SFF180. It is Monday, June the 20th, and it is time for another mailbag, of course. And what a big week it is this week. And a huge, here's half the stack, and as you see, another massive random penguin package. Looks like they're getting a jump start on their July stuff. Maybe they want to get ahead of the upcoming holiday weekend, who knows? So as always, thank you for joining me, and before we dive into these, because there's a lot of them, just a quick reminder that this coming Friday is when we start the Read Virga read-along, and I want to say once again, I very much appreciate the support on that, and to see how many of you have joined in. I just checked the Goodreads group. I'm recording this Sunday evening, and it was at 72 people have joined the Goodreads group. So thank you all so much. So technically the read-along begins this Friday. I know a lot of you have already gotten the book. You can read it whenever you please, right? You can start as soon or as late as you like. But for the purposes of the read-along, the official schedule is 24th of June through the 22nd of July. And thanks to all of you who have come on board and really made this a success. I'm really pleased with the response. And with that little announcement out of the way, let's get into this week's mailbag, shall we? Okay, because it is such a big old monstrosity and I would really like to get it unpacked because it's hard to handle, I'm going to dig into this huge random penguin envelope first. Okay, an impressive batch, 4 hardcovers and 1 paperback in that envelope. And I'm going to start with the paperback. This is something by an author new to me. Her name is Julia Verne St. John. And the book is called The Transference Engine. Let's see, it is described on the cover as a Victorian steampunk fantasy of magic machines and necromancy. Madame Magdala has reinvented herself many times, trying to escape Lord Byron's revenge. She destroyed the transference engine Byron hoped to use to transfer his soul into a more perfect body and perpetuate his life eternally. A fanatical cult of necromancers continues Byron's mission to force Magdala and Byron's only legitimate child, Ada Lovelace, to rebuild the machine and bring Byron back. Magdala now bills herself as the bastard daughter of a gypsy king. She runs a fashionable London coffee salon and reading room, while living a flamboyant lifestyle at the edge of polite society. That sounds like the dream life of every booktuber. Behind the scenes, she and Ada Byron King, Countess of Lovelace, use the massive library stored at the Bookview Cafe to track political and mercantile activity around the world. They watch to make certain the cult of necromancy surrounding Lord Byron, the poet king who worshipped death, cannot bring him back to life. And then it goes on the eve of Queen Victoria's coronation on the June of 1838, rumors of an assassination attempt abound. Both the Bow Street Runners and Magdala's army of gutter-snipe spies seek to discover the plot and the plotters. Who is behind the mysterious black hot air balloon that shoots searing light from a hidden cannon? Ooh. And who or what is the target? And who is kidnapping young girls from all walks of life? Desperately, Magdala and her allies follow the clues, certain that someone is building a new transference engine. But is it to bring back the dead, or destroy the living? Well, there you are. The Transference Engine is a new paperback from Daw in July. Let me know in the comments. And moving on to the hardcovers, this is a book called Faces. The author is E.C. Blake. I believe that is a pseudonym. Let me check. Okay, maybe not. I might be wrong about that. But anyway, this is the third book in a trilogy, or a series anyway, called The Masks of Agrima. Agrima, A-Y-G-R-I-M-A. There it is, Thomas. I think previous volumes, I think one of them is, oh, well, let's just read up, because they don't put cell sheets in these. Masks, Shadows, and now Faces. So Faces is the third book in this trilogy from E.C. Blake, and if you have read any of the first two, let me know, because the first two came out when Penguin was being a little bit more erratic about getting review copies out, and so I don't know that I actually got those. But anyway, here's the third one, Faces, from Daw Books in July. And moving on, we have a new novel by Anthony Ryan. This is a massive epic fantasy, as you see. This is book 1 in something called the Draconis Memoria, and it's called The Waking Fire. And let's see, yeah, very, very dragony, obviously. And let's see, it says on the inside, throughout the vast lands controlled by the Iron Ship Trading Syndicate, nothing is more prized than the blood of drakes. Harvested from captive or hunted red, greens, blues, and blacks, it can be distilled into elixirs that bestow fearsome powers on the rare men and women known as the Blood Blessed. But not many know the truth, that the lines of the drakes are weakening. If they fall, Or if they fail, war with the neighboring Corvantine Empire will follow swiftly. The Syndicate's last hope resides in whispers of the existence of another breed of drake, far more powerful than the rest, and the few who have been chosen by fate to seek it. Let's see, Claydon Torcreek is a petty thief and an unregistered blood-blessed who finds himself pressed into service by the Protectorate and sent to wild, uncharted lands in search of a creature he believes is little more than legend. Lizanne Lethridge is a formidable spy and assassin, facing gravest danger on an espionage mission deep into the heart of enemy territory. And Corrick Hilemore, these names, is the second lieutenant of an iron-ship cruiser whose pursuit of ruthless brigands leads him to a far greater threat at the edge of the world. As lives and empires clash and intertwine, as the unknown and the known collide, all three must fight to turn the tide of a coming war or drown in its wake. So, new series from Anthony Ryan, The Waking Fire in July from Ace. And again, I wish I could give you exact release dates for those, but like I said, no sell sheets with those dates. Anyway, here is the next one. This is by Rachel Kane. Paper and Fire is the sequel to her YA novel, Ink and Bone. So I guess it is continuing that series, which looks to be called The Great Library. I have Ink and Bone, haven't dug into it yet, but this could be a good opportunity. But let's see, without giving away too many spoilers, it just says that in Ink and Bone, Rachel Kane introduced a world where knowledge is power, and power corrupts absolutely. Now she continues the story of those who dare to defy the Great Library and rewrite history. With an iron fist, the Great Library controls the knowledge of the world, ruthlessly stamping out all rebellion, and, in the name of greater good, forbidding the personal ownership of books. Oh dear. Well, that is never good. Anyway, Paper and Fire is out from July, from New American Library, a YA title. Let me know if you've read Ink and Bone in the comments. And finally, here's a pretty neat looking book. It is the sequel, kind of the long-delayed or long-in-coming sequel, to a book that came out maybe 2 or even 3 years ago. The author is Joshua Paul Mateer. This is called Reading the Needle, and it is the sequel to a book called Shattering the Lay, which is, let's see, one of the reviews here describes it as an epic fantasy series. A complex tale set in a world where wonders are accomplished by manipulating the magical energy of ley lines. So let's see if there's anything in here. The Nexus, the hub created by the Prime Wielders to harness the magical power of the ley lines for the city of Erenthral, the Baronial Plains, and the world beyond. And then I don't want to give away any more, yeah, I do have Shattering the Lay. I guess this is a series that I need to catch up on. But in any event, July finally sees the release of the sequel, Threading the Needle. Alrighty then, and this next one is a box from HarperCollins, actually. And there is a padded mailer inside the box. This must be, I don't know, government state secrets or something. And this is called This Savage Song. It is a new novel by Victoria Schwab, or V.E. Schwab. As you know, author of A Darker Shade of Magic and The Gathering of Shadows, and then there's a sequel to that coming out. But this is a new YA novel of hers. And yeah, once again, we don't... What is with the aversion to sell sheets, you guys? Well, let's just read. Kate Harker wants to be as ruthless as her father. After 5 years in 6 boarding schools, she's finally going home to prove that she can be. August Flynn wants to be human, but he can't. He's a monster, one that can steal souls with a song. He's one of the 3 most powerful monsters in a city overrun with them. His own father's secret weapon. Their city is divided. Their city is crumbling. Kate and August are the only 2 who see both sides, the only 2 who could do something. But how do you decide to be a hero or a villain when it's hard to tell which is which? Okay, well, This Savage Song, I believe, comes out mid-August in hardcover from Green Willow Books. I don't know if this is going to be a series or a standalone, but it comes out in mid-August, This Savage Song. Well, this looks kind of neat, doesn't it? This is called The Wolf Road. It comes from Crown Publishing, another Random Penguin imprint. They're the ones who brought us The Martian. And look! Hallelujah! A sell sheet. Thank you, guys. I can make heads or tails of this one without having to dig through. All right. What's this all about? It says, in her debut novel, The Wolf Road, author and managing editor at London's Titan Books, Beth Lewis, introduces us to a world decimated by an unnamed apocalyptic event and inhabited by desperate people accustomed to hunting, tracking, and killing to survive. Among them is Elka, the young heroine, whose unmistakable voice guides us through the untamed landscape of the area formerly known as British Columbia on her journey to escape the horrors of her own past. Everything Elka knows of the world she learned from the man she calls Trapper, a solitary hunter, who took her under his wing when she was just 7 years old. He's taught her how to shoot, track, set snares, and start fires, all the skills necessary to survive in a wild, lawless land where men are at the mercy of the elements and one another. But when wanted posters begin appearing in town, Elka realizes that the man she thinks she knows so well is harboring terrible secrets. The more Elka finds out about him, the less sure she becomes about her own identity, especially as she begins to recover some of the painful memories she's kept at bay throughout her childhood. Oh dear, okay. Don't want to go on any further with that, but this comes out from Crown Publishing on July the 5th. The Wolf Road by Beth Lewis. Interesting. Let me know in the comments what you think. Okay, and here we have a big, thick book or two from Random Penguin in a big old box. Okay, it is 2 books. They're both from DAW. The first of these is a brand new trade paperback edition of Tad Williams' very popular and famous The Dragonbone Chair, which is the first in his Memory, Sorrow, and Thorn trilogy from many, many years back. I think the late 80s was when this came out. Very popular epic fantasy. Sort of put Tad Williams on the map back in the day. Gotta be honest with you, though. I took a look at this. I don't know if you can tell on camera, but production values on this edition, not very impressive. If you look at the cover art, it's like super blurry and out of focus, like it was blown up from a very tiny original. So, I mean, visibly blurry. So, not too impressive there, guys. But if you're a fan of the Dragonbone Chair, maybe you'd like to have this new edition. If you've never heard of the book, or if you have heard of the book and been meaning to read it for years and just haven't gotten around to it, well, you have a new chance. A new trade paperback edition from DAW. And next in the same box is something that looks kind of cute. It's called Heroine Complex. The author is Sarah Kuhn. Again, a new trade paperback from DAW. It says, being a superheroine is hard, working for one is even harder. Evie Tanaka is the put-upon personal assistant to Avida Jupiter, her childhood best friend and San Francisco's most beloved superheroine. She's great at her job, blending into the background, handling her boss's epic diva tantrums, and getting demon blood out of leather pants. Okay, that's cute. Unfortunately, she's not nearly as together when it comes to running her own life, standing up for herself, or raising her tempestuous teenage sister Bea. B-E-A, like Bea. Is this going to be like a urban fantasy, The Devil Wears Prada thing, maybe? Anyway, it says, but everything changes when Evie's forced to pose as her glamorous boss, well, maybe not, for one night, and her darkest secret comes out. She has powers, too. Now it's up to her to contend with murderous cupcakes, nosy gossip bloggers, and supernatural karaoke battles, all while juggling unexpected romance and Avida's increasingly outrageous demands. And when a larger threat emerges, Evie must finally take charge and become a superheroine in her own right, or see her city fall to a full-on demonic invasion. Okay, well, you know, if you like this sort of cutesy fantasy superhero spoof comedy thing, then it looks like this delivers and fires on all cylinders. So Sarah Kuhn, first novel, I believe, Heroine Complex, comes out from DAW in July. Moving right along, we have a tiny little package from HarperCollins. Well, when you open up a package from HarperCollins and it turns out to be a very small-sized hardcover, it is probably going to be a new Sandman Slim novel from Richard Kadrey, and sure enough it is. This is called The Perdition Score, comes out June 28th. This has really turned into a cash cow for him, I must say. Anyway, this one says, it's hell being bored. Take it from Sandman Slim, aka James Stark, half human, half angel. Slim's saved the world, or at least LA, a few times now. He also didn't totally botch the job when he ruled the underworld for a short while. But now he's back up top. Note, we didn't say he's on top. He's finding that the 9-to-5 grind is just not his style. But he tried the PI lifestyle, but even after he sleuthed out who killed Death, well, this is full of spoilers, isn't it? Turns out that this hard-boiled hero is more Rick Deckard than Philip Marlowe. And it all goes on like that. And so, yes, if you're a Sandman Slim fan, you'll be very happy to know then that a new volume is out any minute now. Yeah, end of the month, the 28th of June, The Perdition Score from Voyager. And moving right along, we have a package from Simon & Schuster, 2 books in it, obviously. I think I'm looking at some saga titles here. Indeed I am, and these are 2 finished copies in hardcover, very attractive hardcover, of some books that I've already gotten in ARC form, so I should probably get around to them. Let me know in the comments if you want me to, but the first of these, as you see, is Icon by Genevieve Valentine. It is the sequel to her earlier book, Persona, which I do believe is all about the media and how the media shapes, media shapes people's images and ideas. Actually, it's coming out June 28th, according to that little piece of paper that fell out on the bottom. And this comes out July 5th. It is The Last Adventure of Constance Verity by Ailey Martinez. Again, I got this as an ARC, and as you might recall, that episode probably a month or so ago. This is an urban fantasy that, looks like it could be a cut above the average, as far as that genre goes. But this one says, Constance Verity has become one of the world's great adventurers. It all began at her 7th birthday party when she defeated a giant snake. A master of exotic martial arts and a keen detective, she's in possession of a collection of strange artifacts which are mostly kept in unlabeled boxes in her apartment. Constance has spent the past 20 years saving the world, and she's sick of it. She wants an office job and a boyfriend who isn't going to get killed by who knows what, and she's figured out the way to get them. She's going to kill her fairy godmother, Grandmother Willow, who granted the wish and reset her life. The problem is, saving the world is Constance's destiny. She's really good at it, and there are forces at work to make sure she stays in the job. Then again, it is also her destiny to have a glorious death. Okay, so The Last Adventure of Constance Verity on July the 5th from Saga Press, Ailey Martinez. Getting close to the bottom, but there's still a bit to go. Here we have, what is this from? Well, who knows what this is from? Ugh. I honestly think that these vacuum-sealed, impossible to frickin' open, adult-proof. Okay, that was a little hard to pry out of its package, but finally managed it. This is Infomocracy, a book by Malka Older, who is the sister of Daniel Jose Older. And this comes from Tor.com Publishing, and this is their first full novel release. Up to now, Tor.com Publishing has been releasing novellas, as you know. But this is their first novel, and it's getting a bit of buzz, and I'm quite eager to finally get into it. I was sent it digitally, but I really wanted a physical, and I got in touch with the publicist, and he provided, so thank you very much. It's been 20 years and 2 election cycles since information, a powerful search engine, monopoly, pioneered the switch from warring nation-states to global micro-democracy. The corporate coalition, Party Heritage, has won the last 2 elections. With another election on the horizon, the supermajority is in tight contention, and everything's on the line. See, just a little bit political, this story. With power comes corruption. For Ken, this is his chance to do right by the idealistic policy-first party and get a steady job in the big leagues. For Domain, the election represents another staging ground in his ongoing struggle against the Pax Democratica. For Mishima, a dangerous information operative, the whole situation is a puzzle. How do you keep the wheels running on the biggest political experiment of all time when so many have so much to gain? All 3 begin to realize that not everyone plans to play fair at the next election. The Liberty Party is ascending on the back of subtle promises of warfare, and Heritage will do anything to keep itself in power. A perfect storm is brewing, one that might bring the New World Order to its knees. So yes, I'm very keen to read this, but Infomocracy by Malka Older is out in hardcover from Tor.com Publishing. And moving right along, we have what looks to be another Tor title in a less irritating kind of envelope. And no, it's not another Tor title, but it is a St. Martin's title. Same parent company. This is The Traveler by David Goleman, and it is yet another new novel in his ongoing The Event Group series, none of which I've read, but I keep getting sent them, and maybe I should. But they appear to be, these are the kinds of slightly SF-nal action-adventure sort of stories that actually get sold on the mainstream fiction racks in bookstores as opposed to the actual science fiction section. But some, I guess they're SF-nal enough that they still get sent to reviewers like me. But anyway, this one comes out July the 5th. I don't know which number this is in the series, but it says 267,000 BCE. That's a long time ago. The continent was its own world, untouched by the planet-wide catastrophe that ended the reign of the dinosaurs over 65 million years before. One man arrives in the jungles of this ancient world who will fight to survive in a land never meant for humankind. This man is... Dun dun dun! I had to do that. The Traveler. I had to do it. I had to. Sorry. In another time and in a land far distant, men and women struggle to recover from the loss of so many of their own in a battle. Inside of this group, Colonel Jack Collins has summoned the best of the best from the most secretive organization in the United States government, the Event Group, to help him in his quest. The new mission is to recover one of their own, to bring home a lost soldier from a world that existed in the distant past. So it's kind of like The Martian, except this guy is lost back in time instead of on another planet, maybe? On July the 5th, the new volume is out. Dun dun dun! The Traveler. And that is all we have this week, you guys. A big week that seems to just be one of those let's throw everything at the wall and see what sticks kind of weeks, doesn't it? I mean, we had time-traveling thrillers and classic epic fantasy and post-apocalyptic whatever and heavily political SF. And so, yeah, boy, well, this is certainly a grab bag this time around. So as always, please let me know in the comments which one of these looks most interesting and exciting to you, which you would like to see me prioritize in the review queue. Otherwise, slam that like button if you enjoyed watching, share the video far and wide with everyone you know who reads SFF. And above all, please subscribe if you have not done so. That's how we grow around here. And as always, until I see you guys next time, thank you so much for watching and happy reading.